This video shows you how to troubleshoot the ADS2200 error and maintenance indications. There are a myriad or a host of reasons why the orange error indicator illuminates or lights up. If the orange error caution sign lights up incessantly, continuously, or persistently, it could be that you've got a multi-feed detection error and where you need to clear the front cover and reload your document. So basically, clear the multi-feed and ensure that the front cover is not open. Also ensure that you haven't left your tamper-proof seal on your feed. Click on the link in the description in this video to see how to troubleshoot this error. It might also be an access type of error where you're trying to scan to a PC or a USB, but you haven't connected the USB cable to the machine. If you haven't, connect the USB cable. Or if you're scanning to your USB, ensure that you have adequately inserted the USB to the machine. And on the flip side, you may have inserted an unsupported USB device into your USB port. So ensure that you remove the defective USB device and insert a USB device that is compatible with your machine. It could also be that you haven't got adequate space on your USB flash drive. So say for example, you're trying to save a 32 gig file from your machine onto your flash drive and you already have 30 gigabytes worth of data. You cannot get 32 gigabytes worth of file saving space or memory onto your flash drive if you already have 30 gigabytes worth of data free space on your device, as you will be needing an extra 2 gigabytes worth of free space on your flash drive to save the files from your machine. So make sure you have adequate space, otherwise you might have the orange blinking error. And if you have tried and exhausted all the troubleshooting tips in this video and it still doesn't work, suffice to say, if you're still having the orange blinking error LED illuminated on your machine, then it could be that the scheduled maintenance counter on your device or machine has exceeded 5,000, or that you have run over 5,000 scan pages through your device. To get rid of the error, you would first need to confirm the remaining life in your machine's info dialog box to see if it exceeds 5,000. If it has, you will need to clean the machine promptly, as if you do not clean your machine, document jams and paper feed problems will continue to occur or happen. And once you're done with the cleaning of your machine, you will need to reset the scheduled maintenance counter using your setup remotely. I will show you how to do this at a later stage in this video. To see the process guides on how to clean your machine, click on the link in the description below. But first, cleaning your device essentially entails taking out the automatic document feeder, releasing the tab to open the front cover, cleaning the glass strips in the automatic document feeder unit with a soft lint-free cloth, lifting the shaft of the brake roller with your finger to remove the roller, then subsequently cleaning the brake roller with a soft lint-free cloth moistened with cleaner, for example isopropyl alcohol, and then finally closing the front cover and reattaching the automatic document feeder. And if you're skeptical about taking out the brake roller, just give it a good wipe with a moistened lint-free cloth. And then once done, close the front cover and attach the automatic document feeder. To reset your scheduled maintenance counter, you will need to access remote setup via applications, the ADS2200 file and the Brother Setup app. And as soon as we click on the Brother Setup executable application, it launches the Brother Remote Setup. So we click on, the model name, serial number, just click on it or double click on it, and on the left hand pane, you can find, the machine info. Just underneath, scan to PC or scan to your USB. And like I said previously, if you're scanning to PC, make sure you've got your USB attached. And if you're scanning to your USB, make sure you've got a compatible USB, and make sure you've got, the appropriate space or free space on your USB flash drive, okay? But at this stage, we're only concerned with the machine info, so we click on the machine info. Straight off, you can see that the pickup roller is not over 100,000, it's only 270, as well as, the scheduled maintenance isn't due because it's only 270 as opposed to 5,000. But I'll just click on it anyways and reset, the counters, as this is just for demonstration purposes. In an ideal situation, the scheduled maintenance will be over 5,000, and if you've got the pickup roller over 100,000, by all means reset it. And if you follow all the troubleshooting steps, I am 999.9% confident that the orange arrow light should disappear. The next stage would be to show you how to scan your paper through the ADS scanner, and also how to add additional pages if you forgot to include any extra pages in your scan pile, okay? So firstly, make sure you take out any staples that you've got, in your document, as that could cause a multi-feed paper jam. To bulk scan your pile of paperwork, you need to turn all of the paperwork upside down and scan from back to front, okay? So I will take out the staple from the front page of this document, and the front page hits the automatic document feeder, upside down, and it should be the first page that rests on the automatic document feeder or your ADS component. So just like that over there, okay? And then subsequently, as you scan through, they should come out, right in the order that you want, okay? This, forestalls or prevents you from having to rotate all the files to the right orientation, or rearranging files in the page number format that you want it. And once we're done scanning, you will see that, the pages are in the right order. So there'll be no need to rotate the pages or rearrange the pages in the right order. We'll also be showing you how to add additional pages if you have omitted, scanning, an extra page or two, okay? And here you can see we've scanned about 20 odd pages. And if you just hover the cursor, on any of them pages, it prompts you with a rotating button. We don't need to do that since we inserted our file or our pages in the right order through the ADS feeder. We've also got a delete button. We don't need that. But if you look closely there, the third icon there is an additional button. So if you click on that, we definitely can add more pages, to the 20 odd pages that we've already scanned, okay? Sometimes, clicking on the add button when you've got loads of pages to scan could really slow up the process, Suffice to say, the ADS scanner might appear to freeze out when you're trying to embed pages into it. It's not like it's frozen, it's just thinking about it, okay? So for example, you're trying to include 5 pages in 500 pages. Surely you'd expect your computer to think about it, yeah? So just be patient whilst your computer is thinking about it. Go grab yourself a cup of coffee, but it will embed it, But the beauty of the ADS scanner is that it will embed the extra pages in whatever page location you choose. So if you choose, the page location 14 or 17, it will embed the extra pages in that exact location. And so here, I'm just including an extra page that's got 2 sides through the ADS feeder, and it's prompted me with the question, do you want to add additional pages at location 17, which is what I clicked on, and I'm sending that through the feeder, and hopefully I should have 22 odd pages as opposed to the 20 odd pages that you see there, okay, once it's scanned through. And that's because one piece of A4 paper has got 2 pages on each side, okay? See it's saying scanning 2 pages of 22 pages. I've got 20 odd pages already scanned. Scanning 2 extra pages, that makes it 22, okay? And it will include the 2 extra pages, right before, the 17th page. And so it's quite clever. And that's about it really. If you found the information useful, don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Helps the channel grow, and hopefully catch up with you later. Goodbye. This video shows you how to scan a bulky textbook. In order to get a better incision, I'd move to a page where I can find lines that are more defined. So I'd move to the about 3rd page, and you can see the lines there are more defined. So I'll get my standing knife and start to chisel through and start to cut through the threading at the back of the textbook. And as I cut through the thread comes off relatively easily, okay? In order to scan at superfast speed, the pages of the textbook would need to be discrete. There would need to be individual pages as opposed to being clustered. As you can see, despite the fact that we've got the back of the textbook off, you can see that, the back end of the textbook is still glued together. So we need to find a way to separate the textbook individually so that each page is standalone. So again, I'll be utilizing my Stanley knife to cut through them pages, okay? I couldn't find my meter rule, so I've improvised by using a chopping board. I'm not really worried about measuring. So what's really important is that you have, some, defined edge when you're cutting through, okay? So this does the job. It's pretty straight. It's as straight as the spirit level can be. So I'm cutting through them pages, ensuring that I get a somewhat dig or moderate incision as I cut through each bit of paper. So I will be cutting through, a couple of pages together as opposed to just one page. The more segments of sheets I can get off the textbook, the better. You can by all means use a meter rule or a ruler if you're worried about aesthetics, but the chopping board does the job for me. And so from here onwards, it's a question of just repeating and reproducing the process, just getting all the sheets out and making sure that as you're stacking on the sheets that you're removing from this textbook, that you're arranging them in the proper order. So, in an ascending order or chronological order with respect to them page numbers. Be careful with the Stanley knife so that you do not hurt yourself. Just make sure you're cutting away from, the pages as opposed to just leaving your fingers, right after the blade. And you might ask, why is it important to scan your textbook? You might want to have a backup copy or an extra copy just in case, there is an inferno. Carrying around a bulky textbook is laborious, so you might, want to scan it digital and, transfer it onto a flash drive or a hard drive. Libraries are going digital, so everyone's accessing a lot of information more electronically as opposed to accessing information with the hard copy. Suffice to say, print off as required. And make sure that when you're cutting the edges of your pages, make sure they're pristine, they're fine cut edges. Otherwise, if your edges are quite staggered, your scanner might have problems or issues with regards to selecting each standalone page and scanning them through. So just make sure you've got fine cuts, okay? And when you're done ripping off all the pages or cutting through all of the pages, make sure you sort of like go through each individual page just to make sure there isn't static between each page. Otherwise, when you're scanning through with your scanner may register multiple pages that sort of like that's got static between themselves as one. And when you check the pages, you might find out that you've got 3 pages embedded. So make sure that you sort of like flip through the pages and make sure that you haven't got any static that makes your scanner think that the pages are a whole as opposed to individual standalone pages. And also make sure that you've got an extra protection layer just underneath your textbook to avoid any resultant damage from your Stanley knife. In this case, I've got a transparent plastic underneath, the textbook. You can have, a professional green cutting mat. It's pretty much up to you, as long as the tool does the job. I have got no intentions of salvaging, the hard copy of the textbook. But if you want to, you can glue it back onto the hardback, much more later. But I'll be shredding these bits off and discarding, okay? This is the hardback, you can scan this through with a flatbed scanner. And, the next step would be to gather all the pages that we've cut out together, flip through them, make sure there is no static, make sure each page is standalone, then run it through the automatic document feeder of the ADS2200 scanner. The ADS scanner can take an incessant number of pages. But scanning all of them pages in this textbook would be tantamount to saving a very large file, and you don't want to be there for ages saving files onto your computer. So I would load the automatic document feeder with as much pages of text paper that I can get in. And once I've done scanning, subsequently save the text files in segments as opposed to just saving the whole of the bulk text file to one text file or folder. And so, like I said, once you've finished, loading the feeder, scan through, multiple pages at super fast speed, okay? And if you've got a document jam, or the orange error light, flashes, click on the link in the description to see how to troubleshoot the error. And so the first part of the textbook that I've scanned is about 252 pages. So all I need to do is to save it to my PC. And the reason why I've done it like this is you don't want to scan about 5,000 pages. And as soon as you get a document jam, you take out the paper and you need to start, afresh. So for me, it's always best to do them in tiny or smaller segments, okay? As it doesn't make sense to be almost 90% done scanning the whole textbook. You get one document jam, towards the end of the process, and you need to revisit or restart the process all over again. So for me, it makes more pragmatic sense to do them in quadrants or segments. If you're trying to scan about 5 to 10,000 pages in one go, and if you want to salvage the hard copy, you could use some Gorilla Glue and some clamps to clamp on, the hard copies together. And also click on the link in the description if you're interested in seeing, the multi-feed document jam error or the orange LED illuminating flashing light error, how to set up and how to connect, and all, as well as other troubleshooting tips for the ADS2200. And that's about it really. If you found the information useful, don't forget to subscribe, like and share, helps the channel grow. Thank you for your time, thank you for listening, and hopefully catch up with you later. Goodbye.